Welcome to Lengold English, my friend. Before I reveal the 6 powerful principles that will transform how people treat you, let me ask you something. Have you ever watched someone take credit for your idea in a meeting while everyone nodded along? Have you ever been the only one not invited to a gathering by people you considered friends? Have you ever poured your heart into helping someone, only to have them ghost you the moment they got what they needed? If you answered yes, this video will change everything for you. And it might be uncomfortable to hear, because today you're going to learn something most people spend their entire lives avoiding: the truth about respect. You see, most people believe respect is something you earn from others. They think if they're nice enough, helpful enough, patient enough, eventually people will respect them. But that's the lie that keeps you powerless. Because here's the real truth. Respect isn't earned from others. It's demanded through your behavior. And once you understand this, you'll never beg for anyone's approval again.
Before we begin, let me show you something powerful. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. Maybe they spoke over you. Maybe they broke a promise. Maybe they dismissed your feelings. Now, be brutally honest with yourself. Did you tolerate it? Did you smile and say, "It's okay"? Did you justify their behavior? Did you give them another chance? If yes, then you taught them exactly how to treat you. And that's not their fault. That's yours. I know that hurts to hear, but the moment you accept this truth is the moment your life changes, because once you stop waiting for others to respect you and start demanding it through your actions, everything shifts. Your relationships improve. Your career accelerates. Your confidence becomes unshakable. And people start treating you differently, not because you changed them, but because you changed you. So, if you're ready to stop being overlooked, undervalued, and disrespected, subscribe now, because this video will give you the exact framework that high-status people use to command respect effortlessly. Let's begin.
Principle 1. Respect starts with you, not with others. Here is what nobody tells you about respect. You can't get it from someone else if you don't give it to yourself first. Think of respect like a mirror. Whatever you show yourself, the world reflects back to you. If you disrespect yourself by breaking your own promises, staying in toxic situations, or accepting mistreatment, why would anyone else treat you differently? Let me paint a picture. Imagine a woman named Sarah. She has a friend who constantly cancels plans at the last minute. Every single time, Sarah clears her schedule, gets ready, feels excited, and then, sorry, something came up. Does Sarah say anything? No, she just says, "No problem, we'll reschedule." 3 months later, same friend, same pattern. Sarah is angry, hurt, confused. But here's the truth Sarah doesn't want to face. She taught her friend that her time has no value. Every time she accepted the disrespect, she sent a message, "You can treat me this way. I won't do anything about it." Now imagine a different person, Marcus. Marcus also has a friend who cancels last minute. But Marcus's response is different. The first time he says, "Hey, I understand things happen, but I cleared my evening for this, so next time, please let me know earlier." The second time it happens, Marcus doesn't make plans with that friend again. No drama, no long explanation. He simply redirects his time to people who value it. What did Marcus do? He respected his own time, so others learned to respect it too. This is the foundation everything else is built on. Self-respect isn't a feeling. It's not about affirmations or thinking positive thoughts. Self-respect is a system of behaviors. It's what you do when no one is watching. It's the promises you keep to yourself. It's the boundaries you enforce, even when it's uncomfortable. It's the decision to walk away from anything that makes you become someone you don't respect. Ask yourself right now, when was the last time you broke a promise to yourself? Maybe you said you'd wake up early, but hit snooze 5 times. Maybe you said you'd speak up next time someone interrupted you, but stayed silent. Maybe you said you'd leave that draining relationship, but you're still there. Every time you abandon yourself, you lose a piece of your self-respect. And when you lose your self-respect, you lose everyone else's respect automatically. Here's the shift you need to make. Stop waiting for others to validate you. Stop checking if people like you, approve of you, or think you're good enough. The fastest way to lose respect is to beg for validation from people who don't even respect themselves. Instead, build your respect from the inside out. Keep your word to yourself. Set standards and live by them. Walk away from situations that make you compromise who you are. When you do this consistently, something magical happens. People start treating you the way you treat yourself.
Principle 2. You teach people how to treat you through what you tolerate. Most people think respect is about what you say. They believe if they just explain their feelings clearly enough, set boundaries verbally, or express their needs, others will listen. But that's not how human psychology works. Respect is taught through consequences, not conversations. Let me tell you about Daniel. Daniel works in an office where his boss constantly emails him at 11 p.m. with urgent tasks. Every single time, Daniel responds immediately, works late, sacrifices his sleep. He's exhausted, frustrated, resentful. One day, he finally tells his boss, "I'd appreciate if you could send non-urgent tasks during work hours." The boss nods, says sure, and guess what happens? 2 days later, another 11 p.m. email. Why? Because Daniel taught his boss through his actions that boundaries don't have consequences. Words without action are just noise. Now imagine a different scenario. Daniel receives the late-night email and doesn't respond until 9 a.m. the next morning. No apology, no explanation, just a professional response during work hours. The boss sends another one. Daniel does the same thing. After the 3rd time, the boss stops sending them. Why? Because Daniel taught him through his behavior. Late-night emails don't get priority responses. This principle applies everywhere in your life. That friend who only calls when they need something, you keep answering. That's why they keep doing it. That partner who raises their voice during arguments, you stay and continue the conversation. That's why it keeps happening. That family member who makes passive-aggressive comments,
You laugh it off or stay silent. That's why it never stops.
Here's the truth that will set you free. Nobody disrespects you without your permission. Every time someone crosses a line and you do nothing, you're giving them permission to do it again. You're teaching them that your boundaries are suggestions, not requirements. And once someone learns this lesson, it's incredibly hard to unteach it. So what's the solution? Simple, but not easy. Decide in advance what you will and won't tolerate, and follow through with consequences every single time. Not with anger, not with long explanations, not with threats or ultimatums, just calm, decisive action. Someone speaks to you disrespectfully, end the conversation and walk away. Someone consistently cancels plans, stop making plans with them. Someone takes credit for your work, document everything and escalate it professionally. Someone violates your boundaries repeatedly, remove them from your life. Notice I didn't say confront them, explain yourself, or make them understand. Why? Because people who respect you don't need an explanation, and people who don't respect you won't care about one. Your action is your message. Your consequence is your teacher. And the beautiful part is, you don't need anyone's permission to enforce your standards. You simply do it. This is how high-status people operate. They don't argue. They don't beg. They don't give second, third, and fourth chances. They decide their worth before entering the room. And if someone doesn't meet that standard, they calmly redirect their energy elsewhere. And that's exactly what you need to start doing today.
Principle 3. Emotional control is the highest form of power. There's a version of you that screams, cries, argues, and defends yourself when disrespected. And there's another version of you that stays calm, makes a decision, and takes action. The first version feels powerful in the moment, but loses respect. The second version feels uncomfortable in the moment, but gains respect. Mastering your emotions isn't about suppressing them. It's about choosing your response instead of reacting. Let me show you what this looks like. Imagine someone insults you in front of others. Your heart races. Your face gets hot. Every cell in your body wants to lash out, insult them back, prove them wrong. That's the reaction. And if you follow it, what happens? You look emotional, unstable, defensive. You prove to everyone watching that their words affected you. You lose. Now imagine the same scenario, but this version of you takes a slow breath, looks at them calmly, and says nothing. Or maybe you say, "Interesting perspective," and then redirect the conversation. Or maybe you simply stand up and leave the room. No yelling, no defending, no explaining, just calm, controlled action. What happens now? Everyone in that room respects you more, including the person who tried to disrespect you. Why? because you showed them that their words have no power over you. This principle is critical. People respect those who can't be emotionally manipulated. When you react emotionally, you give others control over you. When you respond calmly, you take that control back. And control is respect.
Think about the most respected people you know. Do they lose their temper easily? Do they yell when frustrated? Do they explain themselves to everyone? No. They stay composed. They think before they speak. They make decisions based on logic and values, not feelings and impulses. And that composure creates an aura of power that commands respect automatically. But here's where most people fail. They confuse emotional control with emotional suppression. Suppression is ignoring your feelings. Control is acknowledging them, but not being ruled by them. You feel the anger, but you don't scream. You feel the hurt, but you don't beg. You feel the frustration, but you don't explode. Instead, you pause, process, and choose your next move strategically. Let me give you a real-world example. Imagine your romantic partner says something hurtful during an argument. Your immediate instinct is to say something equally hurtful back. But what if instead you said, "I need some space right now. I'll talk to you when I'm calm." And then you actually leave the room. What did you just do? You showed them you respect yourself too much to engage in toxic communication. You set a standard. You taught them that hurtful words don't get rewarded with your presence. And when you return to the conversation later, calm and clear, they will respect you more than if you had stayed and fought. Here's your new rule. Never make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. When someone disrespects you, your first instinct is to react. But reaction is always weaker than response. Reaction is emotional. Response is strategic. So before you speak, before you act, before you decide, ask yourself, what do I want to happen here? What version of me do I want to be in this moment? This is the difference between people who command respect and people who beg for respect. Commanding respect means you stay in control of yourself, no matter what others do. Begging for respect means your emotions are at the mercy of everyone around you. Choose control. Choose power. Choose respect.
Principle 4. High-value people don't argue, they walk away. Here's a truth that might sting. If you have to convince someone to respect you, they don't, and they probably never will. Respected people already decided their worth long before they entered the room. They don't need to prove it, defend it, or explain it. And when someone doesn't see it, they simply leave. Most people do the opposite. Someone disrespects them, and they try to make them understand. They explain their feelings. They list all the reasons why the behavior was wrong. They hope that if they just communicate better, the other person will finally get it. But here's what actually happens. Every time you argue for your value, you lower it. Think about luxury brands. Does Rolex send you emails explaining why their watches are worth $20,000? Does Ferrari give you a presentation on why their cars are premium? No, they simply are. And if you don't see the value, they don't care. They move on to someone who does. That's the energy you need to embody. Let me tell you about Michelle. She was in a relationship where her partner constantly made jokes at her expense in front of friends. Every time it happened, Michelle would pull him aside later and explain how it made her feel. He'd apologize, promise to stop, and then do it again the next week. This cycle continued for 2 years. 2 years of explaining, hoping, waiting for change. Then, one day, Michelle stopped explaining. The next time he made a joke at her expense, she calmly gathered her things and left the gathering. No scene, no tears, no explanation. He called her later, confused and angry. She simply said, "I don't tolerate being disrespected. If it happens again, I'm done." He tested her one more time. She left the relationship, not because she wanted to hurt him, but because she respected herself more than she feared being alone.
This is the shift. Walking away isn't giving up. It's growing up. It's understanding that not everyone deserves access to you. It's recognizing that some people will only learn through loss. And if they don't learn, that's not your problem. Your problem is protecting your peace, your dignity, and your self-respect. You don't need to have every conversation. You don't need closure from people who don't value you. You don't need to make them understand. People who love you don't need an explanation for why they should respect you. And people who don't love you won't care about one. So save your energy, save your words, save your time, and redirect all of it to people who already see your value. This applies everywhere. That job that undervalues you? Start looking for a new one. That friendship that drains you? Start spending time with people who energize you. That family member who belittles your dreams? Limit contact and build your life anyway. Your presence is a privilege, not a right. And the moment you start treating it that way is the moment others will too. High-value people don't fight for respect. They withdraw it. They don't argue. They exit. They don't explain. They move on. And that movement, that ability to walk away calmly and decisively, is the most powerful form of communication you have. Because it says, I value myself too much to stay where I'm not valued. And that message is louder than any words you could ever speak.
Principle 5. Measure people by what they cost you, not what they promise you. Everyone in your life has a cost. Not in money, but in energy, peace, and self-respect. Some people add to your life. They inspire you, challenge you to grow, make you feel safe being yourself. Others drain you. They confuse you, make you doubt yourself, pull you away from your values. The people you keep in your life should make it easier to be the person you respect, not harder.
This is the filter that changes everything. Before making any decision about a relationship, friendship, job, or situation, ask yourself 3 questions. Do I like who I am when I'm around this person? Does this person challenge me in ways that elevate me or in ways that confuse and distract me? Does my behavior around them move me closer to or further from my values? If the answers make you uncomfortable, that person is too expensive to keep. I don't care how long you've known them. I don't care if they're family. I don't care if they mean well. If being around them costs you your self-respect, they're too expensive. Let me give you an example. Imagine you have a friend who constantly gossips. Every time you hang out, they're talking about someone behind their back, judging, criticizing, creating drama. At first, you participate. It feels fun, bonding, like you're part of something. But slowly, you notice something. After every hangout, you feel gross, guilty, like you betrayed your own values. You start wondering if they talk about you the same way when you're not there. You become paranoid, anxious, smaller. That friend is costing you your integrity. They're making it harder for you to be the person you respect. And no matter how fun they are, how long you've known them, or how lonely you might feel without them, they're too expensive to keep.
Now imagine a different friend. This person challenges you. They call you out when you're making excuses. They don't let you play victim. They push you to take responsibility, to grow, to be better. Sometimes their honesty is uncomfortable, but after every conversation, you feel stronger, clearer, more aligned with who you want to be. That person is an investment. They're making it easier for you to respect yourself. Keep them close. This principle also applies to romantic relationships. The biggest mistake people make is staying with someone who makes them become a version of themselves they don't like. Maybe around them you're jealous, insecure, constantly checking their phone. Maybe you're defensive, reactive, always walking on eggshells. Maybe you're smaller, quieter, less ambitious than you used to be. If that's true, that relationship is destroying you, no matter how much they say they love you. Real love doesn't cost you your peace. Real love doesn't make you question your worth. Real love doesn't turn you into someone you don't recognize. Real love makes you more yourself, not less. So if you're shrinking to fit into someone's life, that's not love. That's imprisonment. And you need to leave before you forget who you were before them. Here's the hard truth most people avoid. You can't change others. You can only change your proximity to them. If a situation is toxic, if a person consistently makes you compromise your values, the only thing you can change is your response. And most of the time, that response is walking away. This doesn't make you cold. This doesn't make you selfish. This makes you wise. Because life is too short to spend it with people who make it harder to respect yourself. And once you start filtering people through this lens, your entire life transforms. You stop wasting energy on people who drain you. You stop tolerating behavior that costs you your peace. And you start building a life surrounded by people who make you proud of who you're becoming.
Principle 6. Respect is silent action.
not loud words. The final principle is this: respected people don't announce their standards. They live them. They don't post on social media about their boundaries. They don't make speeches about their worth. They don't threaten consequences. They simply enforce them quietly and consistently. Think about the difference between these two people. Person A constantly says, "I don't tolerate disrespect. I know my worth. I'm done with fake people. I'm cutting off anyone who doesn't treat me right." They post it, they announce it, they talk about it endlessly. But when someone actually disrespects them, they do nothing. They forgive immediately. They give endless chances. Their words mean nothing because their actions don't match. Person B never talks about respect. They never announce their boundaries. They never threaten to leave. But when someone crosses a line, they disappear. No explanation, no second chance, no drama. Just silence and action. Guess which person actually commands respect? Person B. Every single time. Why? Because respect is demonstrated through behavior, not declarations. When you have to keep telling people your worth, you're trying to convince yourself as much as them. But when you simply live your standards, when you quietly remove yourself from disrespectful situations, when your actions speak louder than your words, people learn quickly. And those who don't learn lose access to you. This is the final shift you need to make. Stop talking about what you won't tolerate. Stop announcing your boundaries. Stop explaining yourself. Just enforce your standards silently and watch how fast people adjust. Because the truth is, people don't respect what you say. They respect what you do. And when your actions are calm, consistent, and unwavering, respect becomes automatic.
So here's what we've learned today. Respect doesn't start with others. It starts with you. It's built through self-respect, enforced through consequences, maintained through emotional control, demonstrated through walking away, protected by filtering people by their cost, and commanded through silent action. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to be cold. You just need to decide that your self-respect is non-negotiable. And once you make that decision, everything changes. People start treating you differently. Opportunities open up. Relationships improve. Confidence becomes your default state. If this video gave you even one insight that can change your life, then do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button for Lengold English right now. Because here's what most people don't understand. We're not just teaching you English. We're teaching you how to read people, how to protect your energy, how to command respect in any room you walk into, and how to communicate like someone who truly understands human psychology. Every video on this channel is designed to make you smarter, stronger, and more confident, both in English and in life. So subscribe to Lengold English. Turn on notifications, and let's keep building your power together, one truth at a time. Because the next video might be the one that changes everything for you. We're just getting started.